A pleasant morning to all of us. I am Jane Mascardo Galamiton. I am the one reporters of the Chapter 17 Intellectual Property and my co-reporter Krisha Rubio. We will be discussing the intellectual property and what is intellectual property all about. Intellectual property refers to a number of distinct types of intangible assets for which a set of exclusive rights are recognized. So it means refers to a number of distinct types of intangible assets. So intangible assets with no physical form. It's a long-term asset that accrues value year over year. One example of these are the intellectual property, because intellectual property is the set of the exclusive rights that we need to recognize. Another example of intangible asset are brand recognition, reputation, relationship, and goodwill. Intellectual property includes musical, literary, and artistic works such as Taylor Swift's new album, J.K. Rowling's new book, and the latest iPhone. So it means musical, literary, and artistics are all property of the persons. They have rights to recognize. So 4.6 popular logos. I know that all of you know that logos of iPhone, Nike, and others. Intellectual property is any creation or product of the human mind and may be expressed in the form of original ideas, expression, and processes. So it means they have their originality. They also have expression and process of their product. Intellectual property rights. So now let's move on to the intellectual property rights. Are the rights given to person over their creations. They usually give the creator for a certain period an exclusive right over the use of his or her creation for a certain period of time. So in this case, everyone have rights to give to the person what of her creations. According to the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines, Republic Act No. 8293, 1998, intellectual property rights consist of the following: 1. Copyright and related rights. 2. Trademarks and service marks. 3. Geographic indications. 4. Industrial design. 5. Patents. 6. Layout design, topographies of integrated circuits. 7. Protection of undisclosed information. The Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, Intellectual Property Philippines, is the government agency in charge of the implementation of the law protecting intellectual property rights in the Philippines as provided for under Republic Act 8293 or the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines and the revised Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines known as Republic Act 10372. So, copyright and related rights. Copyrights is a set of exclusive rights granted by a state to the creator of an original work or they're assigned for a limited period of time in exchange for public disclosure of the work and includes the right copy, distribute, and adapt the work. Copyright owners can license or permanently transfer or assign their exclusive rights to others. So, copyright means that you copy an original that the creator worked, then you transfer to your own. That would be a copyright. Digital rights, on the other hand, is the permission granted to individuals to legitimately perform actions involving the use of computer, any electronic device, or a communications network. So digital rights, on the other hand, if you need to have a permission to have a granted to the individuals to have a legitimately perform actions using the computer. In the Philippines, all copyrighted materials are recorded and stored at the National Library or the Supreme Court Library. Republic Act 10372 or 2013. So here in the country, once you copyrighted the materials, you have a record and stored at the National Library or the Supreme Court.
Digital rights management. Digital rights management, or DRM, is used to describe the processes by which the author or publisher of a work exerts his or her right to control. So, for short, the digital rights management, or DRM, is the use of technology to control and manage access to copyrighted material. For example of this is the DRM strategies include software licenses and case, user authentication and IP authentication protocols, proxy servers, virtual private networks or VPNs, regional restriction of geo-blocking, and designing products to only work on specialized hardware or software. Thus, companies and organizations have come up with possible solutions to this digital dilemma. The following are techniques designed to control access and reproduction of online information. The first one is encryption. Encryption is a process of converting data or information in such a way that only authorized parties can understand. Encryption occurs every time someone uses an ATM or buys something online with a smartphone, makes a mobile phone call, or processes a key fob to unlock a car. This is done so that information being sent is kept and secure. So for you to understand what is encryption, it is the process of protecting information or data by using mathematical models to scramble it in such a way that only the parties who have the key to unscramble it can access it. So, encryption is an important way for individuals and companies to protect sensitive information from hacking. For example, websites that transmit credit card and bank account numbers encrypt this information to prevent identity theft and fraud. Keys, also known as a product key or a software key. It is a series of alphanumeric characters acting as a key to denote that the product or software is original. In some cases, product keys are used for product activation. So, a specific software-based key for a computer program. As what I've read, it certifies that the company of the program is original. Data scrambling is done to hide sensitive information from unauthorized users. Scrambling is accomplished by the addition of components to the original signal or the changing of some important component of the original signal in order to make the extraction of the original signal difficult. So, scrambling data. Data scrambling is the process to obfuscate or remove sensitive data. This process is irreversible so that the original cannot be derived from the scrambled data. Tag embedding. The tag embedding defines a container for an external resource such as web page, a picture, a media player, or a plug-in application. Patent. A patent is an exclusive right granted for a new, inventive, and useful product. One example of a patented digital is that the Apple iPad. Apple Incorporation introduced the iPad, and with an innovative marketing plan, they didn't just have the success with the product, they brought life to the company again. Trademark. A trademark is a distinctive sign used by an individual business, organization, or other legal entity to identify the products or services to consumers. The mark comes from a unique source and it is distinguish its product or service from the others. A trademark is a unique symbol or words used to represent a business or its products. Once registered, that same symbol or series of a word cannot be used by any other organization forever as long as it remains in use and proper paperwork and fees are paid. Examples of these are brand names like Apple, McDonald's, product name like iPad and Big Mac. Trade secret is the term used by method, formula, service, process, or any information that gives the business unique competitive advantages over its competition. It includes companies' research and development, information, software, algorithms, invention, designs, formula, ingredients, and devices, among others. Examples of popular trade secrets are the formulation of Coca-Cola and Listerine and the recipe of Kentucky Fried Chicken or KFC. Table 4.2 IPR Terms of Protection and Penalties as stated in RA 8293. Copyright. The terms of protection generally throughout the life of the authors plus 50 years of after his or her death. Penalty, first offense, 50,000 to 150,000 and or 1 to 3 years imprisonment. Second offense, 150,000 to 500,000 and or 3 to 6 years imprisonment. Third and subsequent offense, 500,000 to 1.5 million and or 6 to 9 years imprisonment. Patent, terms of protection, 20 years time bound. Penalty, not less than 100,000 to not more than 300,000 and or not less than 6 months to not more than 3 imprisonment.
Trademark. Terms of protection, 10 years from the date of filing of the application. Penalty, 50,000 pesos to 200,000 pesos and 2 to 5 years imprisonment. So, in terms of the intellectual property rights, there's a lot of protection and penalties as stated during a time of Republic Act 8293. I hope you learn our report about the intellectual property and the intellectual property rights. This would be the end of our report. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.